So this person is saying that morals came from God. The first 5 commandments are how you are supposed to, what you're not supposed to do against God, and the other 5 are what you're not supposed to do against humans. And of course, there are a ton of other commandments and laws after that. The problem with this, and what I was saying, the problem with this is the fact that to believe that morals came only through your God, when in effect, older than any manuscript that you have of the Old Testament is the Hammurabi Code and the 42 Confessions of Ma'at, which go a lot further in describing how we should treat one another, how we should treat the earth, how we should treat the civilization, our family, how we should have reverence for, whatever God you worship. You see, morality was around long before the Bible ever came around, long before the creation of Adam and Eve. Just in the mere fact, as I stated in another video, that American civilizations have been here longer than the civilizations of the Levant. That African civilization has been around longer than the Levant. That you have European civilizations longer than the Levant. Sumerians longer than the Levant. You have Asian longer than the Levant. So with civilizations being there longer than the Levant, in order to have a civilization, there must be moral codes and laws put in place for those civilizations to actually exist. Whether the civilization even was hunter-gatherers, even in a hunter-gatherer grouping, a people group, a tribe where they moved around with the animals and they hunted and they gathered, there was still a system of morality that was in place, whether they wrote it down or not, because you cannot have the hierarchy of the hunters and the gatherers and hierarchies within them without having senses of morality. You cannot have families that created bloodlines without having morals, without them just running around knowing that they can kill one another. Now, let's talk about some of these morals. Is it moral to take slaves? Is it moral to force the rape victim to marry her rapist if she is not already married? Is it moral to make a son who is not married marry his deceased brother's wife and produce children that then will actually be called the bloodline of his older brother? Is that moral? Is it moral for the father of that to go and get a prostitute, thinking that is a prostitute, but it turns out to be his former daughter-in-law? Is that moral? Is it moral for Laban to do what he did to Jacob? These are not moral things. Is it moral for Jacob to do what he did to Esau? Those are not moral things to do. Is it moral to treat women the way that the Bible treats women in most cases? It is not the moral thing to do. So morals coming from your God, you might want to pull back on that. You might want to let that go. Yeah, let that go.